Hey everyone. So I was not planning on making a video today, which are famous last words in AI, because OpenAI just dropped the mic on AI video. OpenAI are showing off Sora, which is an AI text-to-video model that is completely insane. It generates videos up to 1 minute long, and the level of detail and coherency is something that we have not seen yet. So this is pretty nuts. This is a stylish woman walking down a Tokyo street, warm glowing neon, animated city signage. There's a bit of a stumble in the walk cycle, but I mean, I can totally forgive that considering how smooth the rest of the motion is and the fact that she's staying super coherent. Also, I'm going to just jump ahead just a little bit. The fact that as it continues on, there's a cut in here as well, which is, it's pretty wild. It looks really great. It's the same character, obviously, as well. Speaking of cuts, this one, I mean, just blew me away. This is a movie trailer featuring the adventures of a 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet. Handheld footage, cuts. This looks like it could be an actual filmed trailer. I mean, there's nothing really in here to majorly indicate that this is AI generated. Here's some really gorgeous drone footage as well. This is a bit of a shorter clip. I think this one only runs 8 seconds, but even then, with current video generators, this would have to be an extend. And obviously, once you get past that 3 or 4 second mark, things tend to start to fall apart. Sora does not seem to be falling apart at all. So it is important to note Sora is not available yet. It is instead being seeded out to red teamers to assess for critical areas of harms or risk. And it's also going out to a number of artists, designers, and filmmakers to test out to see what it can do and basically provide feedback to OpenAI. But like this drone footage of an old California mining town, this looks really pretty great. You've got all of those buildings, a lot of people walking around on horses. They aren't really morphing out and going insane. And even as the camera makes this turn here, the buildings stay intact. They don't start to shift and warp and morph into weird things. Although I did notice one small incoherency. As it's coming along here, we get this like weird icon that's there. I do not think that is period specific. I think that's where the gold is. Eye movement looks incredible in Sora. This is definitely the most natural looking eye movement and blinking I have seen yet. I did notice one kind of thing reviewing a lot of this footage, and that Sora seems to prefer this trick where it kind of vignettes out on the sides. That's actually pretty smart because it probably means that the model doesn't have to pay attention to as much detail across the frame. If it kind of blurs things out a little bit, it probably has more resources to concentrate on center frame. That is just a theory though. Movement is really incredible. I'm guessing this has to be running at 24 frames a second or really close to it. And indeed, this is the best dancing generation that I've seen outside of video to video. Yeah, this is really quite good. Here's some more footage that completely blew me away. I mean, there's a lot of people and colors and movement and things happening in this scene. And the fact that everything is staying relatively coherent is pretty wild. I mean, especially as we pull out and we've now got this giant city scene. Now, I did notice in this shot that the boy's hands do get a little bit AI wacky fingers here around the 11th second mark. But I mean, considering everything else in this sequence, it's pretty minor. I love this piece as well. It's like a 20-second shot of, you know, these various old CRT TVs playing old movies. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I would say that our current video generators probably can't do this. You would either end up with a lot more blank TVs, static TVs, or just scenes of people that are still. There's a lot of movement happening in here. This Range Rover driving sequence is by far the best driving that I have seen yet in any AI video. You know, the Range Rover here traveling down the mountain road is bumping. It definitely looks like it has weight. It's staying on the road and the path as well. Yeah, this is pretty impressive. OpenAI notes that Sora is able to generate complex scenes with multiple characters and specific types of motion, with accurate details on the subject in the background. Definitely kind of showcased here in this Chinese Lunar New Year celebration that legitimately looks like it could be like news broadcast footage. Here's kind of a Steadicam shot going through a museum hallway. I always appreciate these kinds of videos as well, considering that the model has to populate the art for the room itself. But yeah, each of these pieces also stays, temporally coherent within the scene as well. Like basically it knows enough not to have the subjects of the painting begin moving around. The model does seem to have a pretty good amount of imagination as well. The prompt here is a robot's life in a cyberpunk city. I will say that the backgrounds do feel a little bit on the static side, but the fact is that the robot actually stays consistent throughout each of these shots as well. Level of detail on him is pretty remarkable as well. Yeah, this looks really, really pretty cool. Here's another one of an old guy pondering existence in a Parisian cafe. That's not me making fun of the video. That's actually the prompt. Although it definitely sells, that's what this dude is doing. This looks so good. I mean, I think that if you were to pause on any frame, it basically looks like a Mid-Journey, V5 or V6 image. Here's some shots of puppies playing in the snow because puppies playing in the snow. Adorable. It's AI generated or not, this is adorable. Just watch out for that yellow snow. Now, I do appreciate the fact that OpenAI actually provided a number of, those weird AI video mistakes that Sora makes, just letting everyone know, like, look, things still get weird, which I appreciate. Here we have a man running backwards on a treadmill. And look, I'm on record as saying that, once all of the bugs are actually stamped out of AI video, I'm actually going to miss our current surreal area. I mean, stuff like this, it genuinely cracks me up. I mean, I know it can get frustrating when you're looking for something very specific, but at the same time, it's good for a laugh. And I'll say at the video length that Sora is providing, I think that even if things get weird, like this woman's hand here kind of like freaks out on us, there's enough in the length of the shot that you can probably pull something usable out of it. As a note, OpenAI will be utilizing C2PA metadata in the Sora video outputs. Basically, code in there that will indicate that this is indeed AI generated video. And honestly, I mean, as good as that looks, I have no problems with that. There will also obviously be guardrails put on the model should and when it is released, preventing hateful imagery, celebrity likeness, and IP. It's totally understandable, especially considering how good Sora is looking. Another shot of a man sitting on a floating cloud reading a book. It really looks like it could come out of like an Old Navy or a Gap ad. So I am really excited to learn about the technical details when OpenAI releases that later, or at least understanding it to, the ability that I have. But it is interesting to note that you will be able to do image to video with this model as well. So obviously there's no model to play with yet, but if anything, I think this does give us a really good indication of what we're going to be seeing in AI generated video within this year. Whether this be coming out of OpenAI or another company, this is what things are going to be looking like very soon. So yeah, just a quick video on this. Again, I wasn't even planning on making a video today, but between this and the boxes earlier this week, this has been a crazy week for AI video. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on Sora, and I will let you know as details develop. I thank you for watching. My name is Tim.